Moving into the next section, we're going to talk about the flyaways. But one thing that I want to mention here is that I've noticed that I've had to live with this for a day or so. So I noticed that her left eye is not resized the way I'd like to see it. It's kind of bothering me. I'm not concerned about the color because I can change that back at any time. But for the eyes, I'd like there to be a layer above the very top. So I'm going to tap the Q key, have black as my foreground color, and I'm going to make sure that my brush is set to 100% opacity and 100% flow. And I'm going to make a good selection of around her eyes. And then hit copy, merge, and edit paste. And that's going to put the resize left eye here on this layer. And what I'm going to do now is hit Command T to free transform and hold the Option Shift key to grow this from the middle. And I can make that eye a little bit bigger. I can rotate it a little bit. I can just swing that around this way so it looks a little bit straighter. Accept that, and I can add a layer mask if I need to. And with that layer mask, paint with black and make sure that everything looks cool. So that's as far as the resizing and everything goes. Now we're going to look to go to closing this. Now I just know that if I go back and I want to change the size or change the color or anything of that this is going to be over the top. So I'd have to turn that off and change the color and then resize that again accordingly. But that's a minor issue as far as the overall flexibility of the file. So moving to the flyaways. Flyaways and the hair body are the first things we want to handle. So I'm going to get this first layer here, and we're going to call this flyaways. And I'm going to use two tools here. I'm going to use the clone stamp tool, S key. I'm going to be about 50-50 with my flow and opacity. Light and blend mode is fine. And I'm going to option click next to the areas that I'd like to take care of the flyaway hairs. And I'm going to be very liberal about going over. I don't care about going onto her neck. And you'll see why here in a second. And maybe handle some of the areas up here. A couple strokes there. Now this area here, and even the area that I just did, you'll notice that you can actually start to see the change. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in history. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch tools. Now I like the blending aspects of the heel brush. So I get the heel brush. I have it already set to my angle. Now if I want to change the angle of this brush a little bit, hold the control key down and click. And I can get this box up. I can change the angle of the brush. Click off that. And now I can option click and change that. And the nice thing about using the heel brush for stuff like this is it's going to blend, and we want it to blend with that background because that's part of the problem that we're going to have with it not working. So this works really well with flyaways. We just can't get too close to the areas that we don't want it to affect. Like getting too close to her skin over here would be difficult. So if I zoom in and I see underneath here by her neck, this would be difficult for me to get with even a smaller tool. I can do these flyaways here. But if I want to get close here, the clone stamp tool is probably a better choice. Getting a smaller clone stamp tool and holding the option key down and dropping that in. And again, I'm not too concerned about getting too close to the skin. You can see I'm getting in too far here. But I've got a good now blend. So now what I do with the flyaways is I add a mask. And now I'm painting with black. Get a brush, paint with black with a little bit smaller brush, and I just paint that back in. And if I go too far, I switch colors and I just paint that and just negotiate them back and forth. Same thing with down here in the neck. Bring that back, bring back the chin a little bit, and now I've got perfectly blended flyaways. Now the other way to handle, adding body, we're going to add a little bit of body up to this top curl, this little area here, is to make a selection of an area. So I'm going to tap Q to get my quick mask selection again. Make sure that I have a brush selected, and I'm at 100%. A little bit bigger brush, and I'm going to just grab, say, this hair here. Tap the Q key, edit, copy, merged, edit, paste. So now I have this body, so we'll call body here. And I don't move anything. Now, this is important. I don't move anything for the reasons I need to connect, to make sure that I maintain the connections. So I hit free transform, and then I hit warp immediately after. And I'm not looking to move anything, but just push the body down a little bit. And you're going to do this in sections. We'll do this top section here, and then I'll move it down one more time with another section of hair. So we don't want to go too far so it looks like this. We want to keep it under control. So we move this down a little bit. I accept that. And I can do it again. Tap the Q key and get another brush of this section. Tap the Q key again. Edit, copy, merge. Command V to edit, paste. Command T. I know there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts. And then free transform, and then we can push this out a little bit further and get a better mix. And there we've built the body back in. Now if we need to, we can call this body here 2. In this first one we can add a layer mask. And I can paint, getting my brush, painting with black, and make sure I get a little bit lighter brush, and I can paint away some of the body here to stuff that I was working with here on this top layer. So we can start to paint that back. So using masks here, and I can add another mask to the top layer too to add some of this. And I can also go here at this very top section, tap the Q key again. I'll get 100% brush, 100% flow. Make a selection over this. Q key, edit, copy, merge, Command V to edit, paste. So there it is up here. So we'll call this body here 3. Command T, and then the warp tool, which is right up here. And now I can push this way, just to fill in these spots. And I don't want to go to too much of an extreme to push. I don't want to push the sizing so much so it looks distorted. So the whole idea here is to make sure that things look as natural as possible. But you notice that I'm not moving the ends of the hairs. They're staying connected. So if I hit OK, and the last thing, I'll go back to my flyaways and I'll hit some of these areas over here, and I'll hit the J key to get back to my heel brush, and I'll just go through here and take care of these little flyaways here. And hit the S key for my clone stamp tool, Option, and do this because I'm getting close to this edge and I don't want to get too close. I'll clean up some of this edging here. And what we're looking at now is an area that we have restored body in the top. So we've got these three body sections, and then we have taken away some flyaway hairs. So we've taken away the flyaway hairs, and we've added some body back into the hair. Now we're going to go to a much further extent with this. I mean, you could take away a little bits here and here, but it's more of the same method over and over again.